Hello, hello. Welcome to the Women's Empowerment segment on Edge Radio TV Network. I'm your host, Nicole Giddens, health and fitness expert. I have a special co-host here today, Dr. KJ, Christy Janik. She's a neurobiofeedback therapist. And of course, as always, my co-host, Brooke White. And today we have a very, very special guest, Tina Wilson. She has founded her own charity, and she has a painful story that she really truly turned around for a purpose in her life. But before we start getting all the tears flowing, I have another icebreaker.
Okay.
And since we're going to be talking about your son today, this is a mom icebreaker. So these are little sayings that moms say and we can really, really relate to. And I don't know if you drove your parents crazy, but you'll definitely get a feel for it one day.
Just a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Silence is golden until you have kids, and then what? Silence. It's very suspicious.
Oh, it is suspicious.
What's going on?
Yeah.
When the kids are too quiet.
Yeah, what's going on? Something's
You should
wrong.
be
Yeah,
concerned.
wait a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Something's definitely going to a mess. Okay. I don't want to sleep like a baby. I want to sleep like my
Husband. I knew that one.
Seriously, my husband can sleep through anything. I'll throw crap
I don't
at
even
him.
have a husband, but I knew that answer.
Well, it's, you know, I
mean.
think it's selective hearing when that baby's crying when you first
Selective
bring him
hearing,
home.
that's right.
Seriously, it's like,
Calling
yeah,
you out.
sure you
It
can't
happens.
hear that.
Yeah.
When your mom voice is so loud that the neighbors brush their teeth and get dressed.
I'm
That's
guilty.
pretty funny.
I'm guilty of that.
Have y'all ever had where you're yelling at them so bad and you get so like,
You can't
Just-
stop. You can't say anything else.
oh no, you
'Cause you're
can't
like,
get
oh,
it out
God.
right. Like I can't do it right now when I'm expressing myself. My kids were driving me crazy last night. They were arguing over something so stupid. It was the Taco Bell.
Oh man.
And it was like this one extra thing that they accidentally gave us, and it was just this little cheese roll thing that no one ever orders anyway. And they were fighting over the damn cheese roll, and I was like, just and I bleep, 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 give it to me. And everybody was like,
I just walk
they
away.
know when mom turns to that point that they run.
I just walk away. I'm like, I just can't. I gotta go to my side of the house.
Can't parent today. Give me a
Wake
second.
up, go to bed. Have you guys heard the who's the voice? He's was on Pulp Fiction too, with John Travolta. He was his co-partner. What's that guy's name? Come
He's
on.
in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got the best voice ever. If you guys get a minute, look up Bedtime Stories by Samuel L. Jackson. It is hilarious. Have you heard it? Our producer over there, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard it. It is
It's
so
good.
funny. You guys got
He's good though. Samuel
Yeah,
L.
it's-
Jackson. He's
It's hilarious. It's not PG-13,
No.
so I won't say what it is. Okay, have you guys ever locked yourself up in the bathroom?
Yeah.
This one says, sitting alone in the bathroom with the door locked, eating Nutella.
Yeah,
How's your
that's
day
me. I was
going?
about to say that. Give me a spoon.
That was for Brooke.
Yes, it's
That
so
was
mean.
created for Brooke.
I love Nutella. I don't care.
Okay, things between the first, second, and third baby. Can he have this? Is the first baby. Second baby,
Oh,
where you
yeah.
at?
No.
Where you at with second baby?
Baby, wipe it down. Let's go.
Is it? Oh, she was already there. Or like the pacifier. It was like,
no.
oh my gosh, boil it and everything, run
Yeah,
it, make sure
no, I
it's
didn't do
completely
none of that.
sanitized. By the third baby, you just pick it up off the
And
floor.
off the floor
Like
and
it,
give it to him.
like
Oh,
with
wait
your
about
own
that
mouth.
commercial? It's a Cheerios commercial. And the first baby, she's like got all this stuff, a stroller and everything. And then the second baby, she just takes like a handful of Cheerios and puts them in a bag and walks out.
Here you go. See you later.
That's about right on the second one. No joke.
You're done
This one
parenting after the
says-
first one.
This one says by the third one, he can have anything except narcotics and alcohol.
Oh, Lord.
That's so funny.
Oh,
Okay, here's something we can relate. Started making myself breakfast and ended up feeding everyone but myself.
Oh,
Yes,
every time.
yes,
The
And
classic
dinner.
mom
and
diet.
dinner. Every time. Every time.
Typical mom.
Yep.
Yes.
Or by the time you sit down, the food's cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Or
do
you're
that.
not hungry anymore.
Yeah, because you picked so
I
much.
picked so much. Yes, that's true. I do that.
So anyway, yeah, motherhood. You
Motherhood
know.
is fun.
And you step on the Legos and you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm gonna miss this someday."
No, I won't
No,
miss
you're
that.
not.
I won't miss my house being messed up. My house is set up with a west wing and an east wing, and so they stay on their side. It's a true story.
She names the wings.
It's true. I wanted my own wing. It worked
Stay
out.
away from my wing.
Love it.
Anyway.
It's true.
But along with motherhood comes a lot of trials and
Mm-hmm.
tribulations and things that we don't expect when we're raising our kids, right? It's just certain things that you just aren't prepared for.
Nope.
And you have an amazing story. And I want you to start where it all kind of began with, your son was an amazing individual and he had a lot of aspirations for himself and was really recognized by the community, correct?
Yes.
What was his name?
His name was Jamal.
Jamal.
Yes.
No, I'm already saying. So tell us, before the night that this tragedy happened, what was he doing with his life and what were his goals and what was he going to try to continue on with his legend?
Before we go with that, because you did these little mom things, it just made me think a lot about him, and I started getting emotional. I am emotional right now because I remember when he was a little boy, I had no idea what he was going to do with his life. I'm like, oh my gosh, because his grades were just like mediocre or whatever, and he was into sneakers, but I knew nothing about sneakers. It was just like, he'd hang out in lines, he'd make me stand in line and pretend I was one person, then get back in line, change my clothes, and I knew nothing about the sneakers. So I was just like, I didn't know what he was doing. And then came time for college. He didn't even want to take the SATs. I'm like, I'm not forcing you. He went into college because he thought that's what I wanted. And but I've always had a business mindset, so I think my children just followed after me of wanting to run their own business. So he went to college for a day or two or whatever, I don't know. And then our house was filled with sneakers, just like, I guess he just bought sneakers beyond sneakers, Michael Jordan, again, I was not a sneaker person. And he's like, Mom, his sister's friend had a friend who had a store. So he said he's gonna share the space with the person and have his sneakers in front. So he was like sharing the space. That got shut down for whatever reason. And then he brought all the sneakers back home again, started from scratch. He connected with another person. That's what's really good, I believe, about letting kids live their dreams. I never told my kids, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it's like, whatever you want, I support you. And I think a lot of parents try to tell their kids, you can do this, you can't do that. I never gave him that option. So it's funny, he wanted the office space and he's like, Mom, help me get this office space. And I'm like, boy, you know my credit sucks, I can't help you get this, blah, blah, blah. But I've got a mouth, so I went to the owner and I'm just like, my son wants this. They gave him the office space. And then, not the office space, the boutique place. Yeah. Now, again, I know nothing about sneakers, and apparently Michael Jordan and Kobe and all those guys, these are really high-end stuff. Like, sneakers are $1,200, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Long story short, he opened the store with another partner, who was from Staten Island. They had the business there. It was growing really, really good. The second year they opened up another location. This was in New Jersey, by the way. I'm from Jersey. It was in Rahway, New Jersey. And they opened another location in Pennsylvania. And it just kept growing. And I guess because my son was like me, just always working. If I had my cell phone in my hand, that was him. This was him all the time on his cell phone. And I believe, as parents, again, we hold our kids back. And I remember one time he was on his phone like this, and I'm just like, pull the phone away. So I sent him to the eye doctor, and they said he had something called Lord, it's a shame. I forget what it was, but it's a really bad
Some kind of itis.
Itis, yes. Some itis. He comes home, he's like, Mom, the doctor said I'm going blind. I'm like, what are you talking about? Whatever he had, I'm sorry, I forget what it was. They had to do an operation on his eye, so he couldn't see out of one eye. He got it fixed, and then he was playing basketball. He wasn't supposed to, got hit in the eye again, couldn't see again. So long story short, he could really only see out of one eye because whatever issue was going on with that. The business was going really good. He had other partners. And after work, they were hanging out in the back of the store, like teens do. He was 21 years old when this happened. So he started the business when he was 19 because he had the first location. It was, as he would say, it's booming, you know, he's just got like so much energy. And his sister, who is him, you know, they were extremely close. So they were always, I'm not going to say competing, but all three of us, we were like the Three Musketeers, always pushing each other, just like, you can do better, you can do better. I remember one day, she's a dancer, a professional dancer, and she was going to teach class, and he's like, you need to dress better, you need to do your hair, just like, we were very hard on each other. Yes, to be better. And it's so crazy. Let me get back to the story, sorry. So they're in the back of the store, and fortunately / unfortunately, there were cameras everywhere. So when this happened, everything was recorded. So I actually saw everything that happened. So it was about 7 boys in the back room. And in the camera, it shows, apparently someone knocks on the door and said police. Now, I'm not saying my son was afraid of the police, but I've always I don't want to say trained him, because you know how the cops treat black men sometimes. I always say, listen to the cops.
Yeah.
So they said, police, open up. So the one boy did not want to open the door. My son said, open the door. So the kid opened the door, and then two guys walked in with masks on, and he saw the gun. Now, I don't know if he saw one guy or two guys, again, because he can only see out of one eye really good. He's sitting here, and he has a cup in his hand, and he throws the cup of drink, yeah, it was drink, in the guy's face, and they start fighting. So he's fighting the one guy, and then the other guy shoots him in the shoulder and then shoots him again. But you still see, again, there's like 3 cameras, so everything is seen, but they're black and white cameras. The guys have masks on. And you just see him fighting and fighting. And the crazy thing is, the next day after it happened, the owner of the building showed me the video of everything happening. So as I'm watching it, I'm just like cheering and screaming and like, yes! Because he didn't go down without a fight. Like, he didn't cry, he didn't whimper, he's just fighting and fighting. And one of his best friends, because pretty much everyone ran out when it happened. And a lot of the boys were very sad. They were just like, oh, we should have stayed. I said, no, that was the best thing you could have done, because who knows what could have happened to you. But one of the guys, Corey's his name, and he's like, my heart, he went in there with him as he was, you know, dying. And he said, you know, he was holding him, blood dripping down. And just was there for him. So I know he wasn't alone. And so the next day I'm watching the video, like I told you, I was super excited. And then one of his friends told me, they always hang out, and they said, well, if you die, what do you want to happen? And they said, Jamal said if he died, he would want a program named after himself. Because when he was a little boy, he used to go to a program called the Mr. Rogers program. Every Saturday morning he would go. I was a single mom, so it was just me. So, you know, I'm trying to send him everywhere.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers, that sounds good. That's awesome.
Everywhere I
Take
can
him over
take
there.
Art class, baseball.
Be all day in that neighborhood. Off you go.
Exactly.
Doing all of the things.
Exactly.
I'm on that level, I know.
Send the kids there. You have to get the kids out there. Let me tell you. And there's no excuses. You know, parents come in when they sit home and watch TV. Let your kids do stuff. My kid, and I didn't have the money. You know, I felt bad. Yeah. I had my kids do football. He wanted the most popular cleats. I'm sorry, you have to get these cleats here. Right. You know, just put them in something. So I started this program. We called it the Lion-Hearted Legend. His girlfriend actually gave him that name because he was a lion, you know, trudged through everything. And we started the program. It was amazing. And everyone supported us. The town where we lived, Rahway High School, pretty much got it was a 7th and 8th grade initiative, because they said when kids are in the age of 7th and 8th grade, they're either going to go down the right road or down the wrong road. Yeah. So pretty much at that age, we had the boys, and it started out to be a lot of boys, and then we kind of dwindled it down. We did lots of things. We took them, so pretty much it was every Saturday they met. We gave them breakfast, and I had men mentors come out. So my goal was to teach them how to cook, how to treat a lady good. These are
you did good. You go, girl.
These are things that I wanted. How to tie a tie, how to iron. But then I had
good though. Well, you don't know. They might not have had that figure also.
Exactly, because did you know my son didn't know he had to wash in between his toes?
Oh, girl.
He thought the shower. I'm like, no, dude, you got to get in between the
like using the
all the crevices.
Your shampoo and it's your body wash too.
So not only did we have that, we did community events where when it was Earth Day, we picked up garbage. Stop it. And then I wanted to have them do other stuff. So we actually took them whitewater rafting and camping.
Oh, that's
These boys who've never been out. So the program this February will mark 5 years. To the death. We don't know who did it. I just believe that's the way it's supposed to be. God doesn't want that to happen. So I pretty much am a fitness professional like you, and I just kind of push through fitness, because it's very challenging, from COVID to the Black Lives Matters issue. It's just always something. And for myself, I find I have to give myself bigger goals. So, and helping other people. Yeah. That's my little story.
I love that.
I do too.
Well, there is another part of the story too, where Jamel shows her that he's there and he's watching. And we're gonna listen to that part when we come back from break. But you are, she's got such a good heart. Yeah. Like you're not even mad at the people that left him. She's just so glad that they're okay. I mean, that to me is just like, it's just amazing. And then to be excited that he fought.
I could understand that though, because you raised them.
It's just
that came out of you.
Yeah, I just love having the women on the show. Every single woman I have, they're so inspiring in my life. But you guys stay tuned, because there's more to hear when we come back. See you in a minute.
This is former Robert Reed. This is Mel Jewell of Athletes United.
And we want to talk to you of our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment on Edge Radio TV Network. I am still your host, Nicole Giddens, health and fitness expert. Co-host over here, Brooke White,
Hello.
entrepreneur extraordinaire and survivor expert. We have a special co-host today, Christy Dr. KJ Janik. She's a biofeedback neurotherapist. And of course, last but not least, Tina Wilson. She's had a compelling story that she's telling us today about her son's tragic death. Whenever we lose loved ones, we always find a way, if we really manifest it and pray about it, where they'll kind of come to surface for us. And you had an experience where that happened for you, and I want you to tell the audience about it.
Yes. So we've gotten a lot of exposure through the news, and the first or second year after it happened, Channel 5 or whatever station wanted to do an interview with his sister and myself to tell his story. Now, when we first met, you know how you talked to me and asked me about him. So the guy who was doing the interview, he was implying as if my son was only selling sneakers for money. And it was kind of making him look bad. And my daughter just said, stop right now. My brother was not about that. He wanted to help people because he helped other children and other businesses and things like that. We did the whole interview, and we got his ashes. We got him cremated, so we had his ashes there. They had us bring some sneakers and stuff like that. And there were a pair of sneakers that someone designed that were a year old. So because it was a year later. So my son had dreadlocks, similar to what these are right here. But so he gone to California at one point, and he said certain people were treating him a certain sort of way because he had dreadlocks. So he cut his hair off. So that
when we take him
people,
more seriously.
Yes,
as a
so he can be
businessman.
as a business person. So I kept saying to him, keep your locks. I want them because you can put them as extensions. And he said, I took too long to take them, so he threw them in the garbage. He threw all of them in the garbage. This was like 2 years prior. So we're doing this interview with this person, and we're cleaning up, putting everything together, and we see a dreadlock in there. And I look, and I'm just like, it's his.
Oh my.
Now the person who's doing the interview, he's like, oh no, it's yours. And I'm like, I know what a real dreadlock
Yeah, mine aren't
looks
going to
like.
fall out, but this is kind of intact here.
Exactly. I look at it, I smell it, I feel it, and it's his dreadlock.
Wow.
So my daughter was like, that's his way of saying we're doing good, because we started the program. We made his name look good. Because a lot of people are saying to me, oh, he must have sold drugs, that's how he got the money. I'm like, no, my son never sold drugs. And that's an insult to me because I worked extremely hard
Stereotyping.
It
to
is
bring
a
them up,
stereotype.
and he worked very hard. Like, it was times I saw him crying where, because people rob you sometimes when you're doing these sneaker deals.
Yeah.
Like he would go to New York and sell sneakers and blah, blah, blah. So just the fact that we brought his name out, you know, and everything felt really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, all of them went into the trash for certain.
Yes,
And
his
that's
girlfriend,
just
I even
crazy.
text everyone,
2
I'm
years
just,
before that.
yeah.
How the heck did he find that?
I know.
Here for, and I wear it in my hair occasionally. This is for you, Mom. My daughter was like, you can't wear it. I'm like, yes, I am. You know.
It's such a shame that they would try to do that to him, you know, and we were talking on break about how, you know, I mean, it's human nature to be a little bit bitter and sour
Yeah.
when we were talking about Black Lives Matter and, you know, everything that's going on in our climate right now. And he was complying with who he thought was police officers and opened up that door and ended up losing his life because of it. You know, he had instilled good core values, doing what his mom had taught him, and then now he's an angel in the sky.
Yes.
So your chapter for your charity is in Jersey.
Correct.
How many young men have you guys been able to help?
So it's varying because of COVID now. It's a little more challenging, and each year it was different. So right now our goal is to focus a little more on smaller groups, because before we started with a big amount of children, and it's hard to give a lot of attention to a lot. So right now our main number is 7. This February we're having, because it's 5 years, I always like to do something to remember him, is we have a company, it's called the Dr. Dapper Academy, and it's a mentor program that's going to mentor the boys individually, give them a training program. So we're raising money for that because, of course, it all costs money. But my goal is to do for those children what I did for my kids. For example, I gave them ideas. You can do what you want to do. And there's one boy in our program I have to talk about. His name is Javon. And when he first started, I say to each kid, what do you want to do? Basketball, football, rapper, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, now let's go even deeper. And this one kid said he liked to cook. He liked cupcakes. So he started his own program. He started his own company, Javon's Cupcake Factory. So we helped him begin that program. Now he's got his own business. So my goal with this mentor program from the Dr. Dapper Academy is for all of my 7 boys to find out what their niche is. If it's making clothing, if it's doing fitness, if whatever it is, because I feel if you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. And kids are more apt to do that. Because schools teach you trigonometry and all this stuff you're never going to use. So if anyone out there wants to donate, go to the website.
What is the website?
The website is lionheartedlegend.com. Exactly who he is. So just go to www.lionheartedlegend.com. And I also do different things. For example, we've made different masks here to represent him. And all the proceeds, this is his little face right here. All the proceeds go towards his, towards the foundation for the boys.
So can they purchase the masks on the website?
Not yet, but you can also, hit me up on the website.
Okay, so how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, starstina_fitness, because I'm fitness. And we do have a Instagram for the boys page. It's the Molly Gaines Foundation. That's the name on Instagram. Molly, Mally. That was his nickname, just because I like that.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. And so what are some goals for the future? Do you think you'll start a Houston chapter here?
Well, listening to you guys.
I know.
We're here.
I mean, you're
I think
right
we need
here.
to do something. No, I think
We
it's so
love
necessary
that.
everywhere.
It's Houston.
It's Houston.
I mean, you're here already.
Well, that sounds great. A little something here in Houston. My daughter wants something in California. Just as long, I want him to be remembered for something. I want the fact that he died. Okay, he died, but I want his death to have a purpose, to have a meaning.
I love that.
Absolutely.
His legacy is living on.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as far as financial contributions are considered, for one kid, how much do you really need to make a change?
For the 7 kids I'm doing for the program?
Just for that one individual.
So for the one individual, we're going to give them guides. Now the guide, and I told the guy, I was speaking to the person yesterday, I said, you can give these kids the guides, but they need the coaching. So the guides themselves are $300. There's 5 different guides that show them different things. And then you have coaching sessions. Where they meet with a coach every week. And I said, I'd love to do it for a year. So it comes out to about $1,000 for each child to have a complete year of training along with the guides.
And so you're a 501c tax exempt
Correct.
charity.
Yes, we are.
So if you guys own a business and you're looking for a tax write-off right now, it's coming up on January. Go to this website, which is
lionheartedlegend.com.
and go ahead and donate to them, and you can write it off on your taxes. It's tax exempt.
And you can help a little boy reach his dreams and goals.
I love that.
Oh man, look at Jimmy.
We're in unison. So what else do you have going on here in Houston? Tell me a little bit
In
about Tina.
Houston, Tina, well, we all know that COVID's here and striking everyone with all sorts of things.
Is it though?
Yes. And it just seems like things just keep getting worse and worse. But again, I'm that person that's going to turn things around.
Yeah.
So exactly. So no matter how negative it is, I'm going to find the good side of it.
Right.
So after my son, and I'm just throwing this out there for all those women out there that feel like their life is really bad. Let me tell you, mine's even worse than yours sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
So,
Somebody is winning.
Stop crying yourself a river,
Please
sister.
don't
We all got it bad.
Get over it.
Somebody's winning with the same circumstances you're complaining about.
Exactly.
Not this.
Yes. So I'm just throwing this out there because I got over it. And 2 weeks before my son was killed, I met this guy. And I was like, you don't have to stay with me because my son was killed. And he stayed with me the whole time. We got married. And I actually got married a year after my son was killed. Wow. So he got killed on the 26th. A year later, I got married on the 27th. I actually wanted to get married on the day he was killed because I said, I want to turn this bad memory into something good. You can never do that, let me tell you. So last December.
Molly was like, Mama, that's my day.
And my daughter as well. So we got married the day after, and the marriage was all over the place, but I'm that kind of person. I'm going to fight. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to keep going. So last December, my sister and her husband are like, you should move to Texas. It'll help the marriage. So I moved from New Jersey, my home that I love. I've been there forever. I came to Texas. I met this wonderful lady. And 2 months later, we separated. He went back to Jersey or whatever, but that's great. And I say that because
positivity.
Because
we love it.
Because if you think about it, don't you have some people in your life that try to dim your light?
Yes, girl.
And if you have anyone that tries to dim your light, you gotta let them go.
You gotta let them go.
And for me, again, I'm that person. You tell me I can't do something, it's gonna push me to do it even more.
Oh yeah.
So he
she said the adrenaline is coming out.
Hang on.
So,
challenge accepted.
So with that being said, I keep putting more challenges. So I signed up for a marathon, something I've always wanted to do, which is 26 miles.
No.
Why? Because it's hard. It's something challenging. So my point of the whole thing is when you get those lemons, when you get something really, really bad, find the goodness in it. And the goodness is he was there for me when I needed him. Now it's the next chapter of my life. It's made me the person I am now. And I got to meet all you wonderful ladies.
Oh, you were such a light. She is such a light. And she makes an entrance wherever she goes. No, I'm not kidding. I'll never forget the first day that I met you. No, seriously, you are a light.
Thank you.
You truly
Thank
are.
you.
And you're an inspiration because a lot of moms have lost children and they still don't know how they're dealing with it. So turning around any pain for purpose is a great way to deal with grief.
Oh, absolutely.
And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to have you back after we raise some money for the Houston chapter.
Let's do this. The
I'm
Houston
on a
chapter.
mission. Just go ahead and tell me I can't.
Hire herself.
I do hire myself.
She hires herself wherever she goes. I'm going to do that. And I'm doing it. No joke.
All right, you guys stay tuned. We have a little twist to our second half with a married couple, and they've got an interesting story too. So we're gonna put the husband on the hot seat.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Stay tuned. It's gonna be good.
Awesome.
Right.
A retired Marine and former school teacher is spending his days on the road promoting unity.
His platform is to erase race, and he's trying to do that by traveling the country, visiting 100 cities, spreading his message one conversation at a time.
I was born and raised in Waller County, Texas, just northwest of Houston. As a child of the 60s civil rights era, I lived in a city that was probably 100% black at the time, and that city, Prairie View, Texas, had an educational background that far exceeded the national average. Because of this uncommon occurrence, I grew up lacking the sense of inferiority that many black people experience as a result of segregation and the remnants of the Jim Crow era. In Prairie View, the smartest and most able and capable people the children of that city saw daily were always black. After integration in 1969, I grew up with friends from a variety of ethnic backgrounds, and this continued to expand as I went to college, and my circle of deep relationships continued to grow with football teammates from various parts of Texas and the country, and then expanded even more after I joined the United States Marine Corps, where my relationships began to include foreign cultures and people with whom I never envisioned communicating. Today, after having visited and lived in the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe, I am convinced that we are all far more alike than we could ever realize. Something has hindered that realization for others. Here in the United States of America, we have been plagued for hundreds of years with a concept called race. This concept would have us believe that we are fundamentally very different and our skin color makes us so. Though anthropology, sociology, and medical journals continually refute this, many Americans continue to harbor the erroneous beliefs associated with race. This is what I'm here to change. Hello, I am Carlin Charleston, the Executive Director of Erase Race. We are a 501c4 nonprofit organization designed to remove race from our society and unite people across all demographics and bring them into the novel reality that we are all quite differently the same. That phrase may sound contradictory in itself, but it really makes sense. Once we understand our common origins from whence we all originate, then it becomes much more interesting to see how differently we have evolved in our geographic regions as one people. Erase Race began the work of unifying our country when I embarked upon a 112-city tour last June. Driving the Unity van from coast to coast and from north to south, the thrill of visiting the 48 contiguous states and meeting people I would have never met otherwise was simply amazing. From Baton Rouge to Boston and from Philadelphia to Phoenix, I became more American every day as I met the people that make up this great country, and that is where I want to take you.
This is city number 76.
Shaking hands, visiting people and places, striving for unity as a human race.
It has really been phenomenal. Number one, to travel the country and go to different places in our country and meet the people is what most Americans need to do.
He said there have been surprising interactions, even poignant moments, stopping along sites of historic importance like the Liberty Bell and Harriet Tubman's home. He'll make his final stop in December, but his work will be far from done. Carlin's life is the American Unity Movement, and he's hopeful one day soon people truly won't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
That's my vision, that we have people, and we can then respect people and live with people.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. I am your host, Nicole Giddens, health and fitness expert. My co-host here, Brooke White, entrepreneur extraordinaire and survivor expert. And today we have our married couple here. They have their own marriage counseling therapy that they do online that they just now started, correct? You guys just now started with this? And it's Desnica and Tommy Taylor. So welcome to Edge Radio TV.
Thank you.
Nice to have you guys. But you know, I always like to start off with an icebreaker. So Brooke is going to ask you some questions because we're going to put the husband on the hot seat. And we're going to find out how romantic you really are. And it's even going to tally it up and everything afterwards.
So I do it in here. And okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
So that's going to be absolutely then.
Yeah, give them the choices. Absolutely happens every day. I suppose it's possible. Maybe, but not for sure. I don't think it's a real thing. Or maybe, but not for me. So absolutely, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say absolutely. Okay. If you could choose any movie genre to watch, what would it be? A romantic drama, a romantic comedy? It doesn't really matter. Anything but romance.
I like romance.
So comedy or drama for the romantic movie?
Probably comedy.
Yeah, comedy. I love that one too. Do you use pet names for your partners? Or partner, my bad. Okay, yes, I love to create personalized, endearing names just for him or her. I use typical pet names like baby, sweetie, and honey. Not really, it's sort of embarrassing. No way, those are awful.
Do you have a pet name?
Sweetie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll go with that one. Your anniversary is coming up, so you plan a candlelit dinner followed by dancing, a jazz club, and intimate time together. Go to dinner and a movie. We'll figure something out. You don't do anything. It's just another day.
Oh God.
That's
so the first one was I like the
candlelit dinner, dancing, jazz club, intimate. We can change it just to club.
No, I like that one.
Okay, you like the way that sounds, but does he do it?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna give it to him.
Yeah, I like those.
Okay. Do you enjoy hand holding, spooning, and cuddling? Yes, and I initiate it. Yes, but I don't initiate it. Sometimes, if the situation is right, never. It's way too lovey-dovey for me.
I like hand holding. Cuddling, like I'm good. If I get hot, I'm like, nah, we gotta like.
So would that be sometimes? Well, no, I'm gonna say yes.
Who
Well,
initiates
who
it, you or
initiates
her?
it?
Probably me. A little bit.
Is that
I'm
true?
I'm more of the cuddly one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
she's-
yes,
yeah.
but I don't initiate it.
Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay. Have you?
No, it's this one.
Yes, but okay. I'm sorry, I'm about to make you fail. Have you ever made breakfast in bed for your partner? All of the time. I look for different recipes, ingredients, and dishes to try. Sometimes on special occasions. If my partner is sick, I try to help out. Never. It's too much work.
On special occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I cook all the time though. So.
Okay.
Yes, he does. He's a better
Yes.
cook.
Good. Do you remember your first kiss? Yes, I know who it was with,
Yep.
how old I was, where we were, and even what I was wearing. That's in yellow. It's like it's everyone's answer. Okay, I know who it was with, but not many other
Are you going with the
details.
first one?
Well,
I
there's
know-
more.
I know. I remember our first kiss. It was very awkward.
I think I
Okay.
possibly remember who it was with, but that's all. I don't remember it all. So I know who I was with.
No,
but not
your
many others.
first kiss.
Oh,
ever.
Oh, I thought you meant
Ever?
her. I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember at all. Okay. Would your friends consider you a romantic person? Yes, they come to me for advice with their love lives. I think so. I'm not really sure. Not at all. That's not my thing.
I don't know.
Friends for guys? I don't know.
And do guys really
Do
do
y'all do
that?
that? I think y'all want. Oh, never mind.
I am romantic. I don't really have friends that come to me for ideas about it.
So, no. Well, yeah, no. That's going to be a no.
Okay, keep going.
Would your friends consider coming? That's what it is. Would they? No, so I guess not.
Well, yeah, because he's a marriage counselor.
Yeah, then they would come to you. Just say I think so. Okay. When you go to a supporting event or sporting event or concert with your partner, you hold on to the ticket stub and buy another memorabilia to have as mementos. Keep the ticket stub as a reminder. Try to keep the ticket stub, but if not, it's not a big deal. Throw it away. Who cares?
I'm more likely to throw it away.
Okay.
She's more the scrapbook person.
Same. And then it ends at the bottom of my purse. Okay.
That's
Do
true.
I tried.
I tried.
They won. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Do you do special favors, give gifts, and or go out of your way to surprise your partner? Definitely. It brings me joy to make him or her happy. Sometimes I'll try to. Once in a while when it's convenient for me. Rarely who has time.
What was the first one again?
Definitely. It brings me joy to make him or her happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
All right.
So
Where did he get it? All right.
I'll let you take over to the
Okay.
I don't know where it went.
You have some romantic qualities. You're definitely a romantic person, and while your head may sometimes be in the clouds, your feet are still firmly planted on the ground. So you're in the middle lane for it. So okay, he passes. He passes.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Is he a keeper?
Yeah, I would say yes.
So you guys have a really good story, because some people, when they look at a happy married couple, they have such high expectations for them. They think that everything's so perfect and everything should have just went right the whole entire time, and they must just not fight and all this other good stuff. But I really don't think that you can grow and mature as a couple if you don't go through some trials and tribulations, don't you guys? I mean, obviously you
Makes
guys
you
are
stronger if you come out on the other side of it. Yeah.
true testimony for sure. And you know, I've asked old couples, because I've always been fascinated with them. I'm like, okay, how long have y'all been married? Oh, 30 years. Oh, 25 years. Okay, what did it take? Well, there was a time that we considered divorce, and we stuck through it and decided to stay together anyway. I mean,
My parents
the last three that I've asked have said that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My parents have been together 40 years. They did the same thing.
Yeah. So at one time you're ready to just kick each other out.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that.
So
We've been there.
So you guys have a story.
Yes.
Where y'all went on a journey together, and you turned around some pain that you guys contributed to each other for a purpose. And so tell me where it all began. How did you guys meet, and when did things start changing?
So we're actually high school sweethearts, to be honest. We started dating when I was 15 and he was 16. And we got married straight out of high school at age 18 and 19.
Wow.
You know, and neither one of us actually had a clue to what a healthy relationship was. I was like, we did it. And we had very unrealistic expectations of love and marriage and of the other one. Like, I know I personally came into the marriage with the expectation that he was going to make me happy. He was always going to love me and never leave me. And then he had different viewpoints on me, but they were still unrealistic. And then, so, you know, a few years into marriage, when these expectations aren't being met, it kind of starts to draw some distance and like isolation.
Okay, let me ask you this. What were the unrealistic expectations that you had for her?
For me, I was kind of like that. I looked for love, like, so it was like putting love on a pedestal and just being that in love feeling, like, and
you thought it was gonna last
like
forever.
she was the one that like we were different because we met in high school, and like we were like, I held us to a high standard.
We would never fight like dramatically, never hurt each other.
We never thought it could happen.
Yeah, I just
Right,
I had
yeah.
this, I guess, egotistical thing, like we were just like better than like or different than.
No, I see
better
what you're
than
saying.
different,
I see
you
what
know?
Yeah, and
You didn't expect that could happen.
the expectation of like always that like lovey feeling.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people have that. Like, oh, I'm not in love, and then they're like, but that's not what love is.
Exactly.
Doesn't that suck when that goes away?
It's the beginning. The beginning.
Yeah. Seriously, I mean, it's so exciting at first. And like that kiss, you get the butterflies, and then, you know, you can't wait to see each other. You get the butterflies before each other comes home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know my husband had an unrealistic expectation about me because he looked at my mother, and she's so clean. And she's so OCD and so organized. And so he expected me to be like that. And boy,
it's not.
Yeah, guess what? He built his own closet. Let's get out of my way. I keep my house clean.
It is.
But no, I'm messy in, you know, other ways. But yeah, okay, so continue on.
So it was just some of the unmet expectations, and then not knowing who I truly was on the inside, and like my background of how I was raised. I was raised in a very sexual, like everything was about like sexual. Like a girl walked by, like the men in my family were like, "Oh, how hot is she?" and all this stuff. So I just grew up very like flirtatious, and that was acceptable. And so when I did that, like that led me to actually having an affair and cheating on him very early in our marriage. And I did it one time, and I was like, I can't. I was like, I felt so guilty, and I was like, I love him so much, and I was like, I can't believe I did this, and like, why did I do this? Like, I had no idea. Like, it was just the attractive attention.
Something
It was just the
took over you.
attention, yes, and it was because at the time, you know, my unrealistic expectations I had for him, he didn't he disagreed, and like we were just going through like young struggles, right? And instead of like seeking help on those, we were just trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I was willing to take my mistake to the grave and not tell him. And like I didn't. And I held on to it for many years, but I changed as a person. Like I never even looked at like another guy after that. Like it was like I was no. I didn't, you know, joke with the girlfriends of hey, like didn't do all that stuff. But like the Holy Spirit worked otherwise.
Yeah.
And I was consistently convicted. And at the same time, he knew. Like he knew even though I wasn't telling.
Well, I didn't know.
You had a feeling.
But I knew.
Your
like,
intuition
something
told you
was-
something wasn't right.
Yes. And so
Couldn't prove it.
this led to a lot of internal problems with him, and then a lot of constant kind of like battling between us because it was always just like something between us.
Yeah.
Right? We weren't fully open. And then so a few years later, like everything came to light when it kind of like that's when it all blew up. It led to, you know, our marriage was very unhealthy. It was toxic, like completely. There was a lot of emotional, verbal abuse and a little bit of physical abuse on my end. I'm sorry.
You were driving yourself crazy
Yes.
by holding on to the secret, and you were lashing out on him.
Yes.
So let's hold that thought here because this is starting to get really juicy. So we're going to go on break.
Yes.
And when we come back, we're going to continue on. Y'all stay tuned.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. We have our special guests here today, Daneska and Tommy Taylor. They have their own Christian coaching, marriage semi-counseling online business, and we were talking today about their journey as a married couple and what drove them to have a passion to help other couples. So before we went on break, we were talking about a little infidelity issue that you were dealing with and a very guilty conscience that you had that was starting a snowball effect with a lot of strife within your marriage. So let's continue on from there, because like I said, I know you did some bad stuff too, so let's get it all out there.
Yes, we are putting it on the table today.
Don't hold back. No. Tell me everything.
No, so I mean, we're very open and honest with about what happened. And it's kind of embarrassing to like say some of the things that I did, but I did do them, and I own up to them because I want to be there to support and encourage other people. Yeah. And so through all of this, he was having a lot of internal, and it was causing him to act like crazy. He
caused
felt
a lot of. For me, it caused a lot of like depression, a lot of self-doubt. A lot of second guessing, or not only our marriage and relationship, but then also like just my intuition and guidance, and like my internal like guidance I used to like trust in, and then I went from trusting people to zero.
Yeah.
And so it just caused a lot of issues for me.
And then so the breaking point was like he like his internal kind of went off, and he started an emotional affair. And it didn't matter what I did, I couldn't break him from that, but I still was holding on to my lie. And then when I revealed my lie about the infidelity, everything kind of went off, and he went and he had his own affair.
That was actual physical affair.
And it was like full blown. And so at that point, we both had infidelity. There was still a lot of verbal, emotional abuse, and all of those kind of things. And it was just like a very, very toxic environment. And you know, we actually did go to counseling and talk to therapists and stuff, and all of them would just look at us and be like, why are y'all still together? Like, y'all need to leave.
Yeah, we had so many people just tell us, like, you know, I don't believe in, like, y'all shouldn't be together, individual together. And then we had, like, just people just, you know, it was either, like, you go to one counselor and he'd be like, you know, gang up on one or the other, and it's just, like, depending on the sex and all that. It was just kind of rough. Like, we went back and forth together, like, you know, you do this to me, I'm gonna do this to you type of. It was very immature.
As a very revengeful person.
Yeah, but we went back and forth for a while and all this different stuff.
So I will say that some of even though like there was acts that like hurt the marriage, it was the things that we said that hurt the most and like really kind of destroyed.
You can't take words back.
No.
Yeah,
You know.
we
You
were
can't take
actually
a lot of things back.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that like the other day, and I was just saying, like, you know, like actually, like the infidelity, like you would think that would hurt the worst, but like the words is really what really hurt probably the worst out of everything.
When you love somebody so much, there's so much passion there that can turn around to another very strong emotion when you're angry. You know,
and that's what happened.
Down really, really dirty.
And infidelity, though, I mean, it can easily happen. It's one of those things that just sometimes you don't even expect it to happen. So, but saying something mean that just like sticks in your head, you know, it's so weird.
It was intentional.
Right?
It was like, I want to hurt you.
And you were babies. You
Yes.
were just babies. You met at 15 and 16 years old.
Yes.
You married at 18 and 19 years old. There's so much growth.
So much.
A lot of
that
growth.
you go through. I mean, I didn't grow up till I was 40.
I thought you were 39.
Well, forever 39.
There was a lot for us to learn. We grew up very differently, and just learning the balance of like our backgrounds and just understanding like roles in a marriage, and like just I had the unrealistic expectation all the time of like, you're the man, you're supposed to do this and this, and I'm like, that's honestly like it's not.
Like, you don't want me working on plumbing.
But
everything is for you to do.
Like, I'm good at like tech and all that stuff, but plumbing, it'll leak.
Right.
And that's the difference between their Christian coaching and then another certified therapist, because the divorce rate is so high, especially
Very
now
high.
with COVID.
Yeah.
And divorce is also considered a cure-all. You know,
Yeah.
don't get along, okay, off you go find somebody else.
Yeah,
you know.
Chances are you'll repeat those same exact mistakes.
You will.
Yes.
Attract that same type of person, maybe a little bit different, and then do another relationship in the next one. That's why people
You
go
have
through
to.
their marriages.
You have to literally be done and not with anyone if you go through a divorce and be single before you can actually get into it.
You gotta heal.
You do, because you're right. You'll make the same mistakes.
A lot of it's learning who you are truly.
Exactly.
Who you are and how like you're designed. A lot of people are just kind of go through life always just trying to get attention and just fill these like the things that they need or like they think they need and stuff, instead of actually going, no, this is who I am. I don't need your approval.
Right, exactly.
Like, this is me. And so like I know that was one of my biggest struggles. Like my whole identity issue, like I didn't hit a midlife crisis. I hit that like in my mid-20s. Like I didn't have
It's a 20s crisis.
Yeah, I didn't know who I was, and so I just kind of put all of my identity in him. And unfortunately, a lot of women do that. Their identities in their kids or their husband, and then they wake up.
They don't know who they are.
You gotta put God
Exactly.
first,
Yes.
and we're here to help each other, and we're here to serve others. So that's where you guys started this journey now with your coaching.
That's awesome.
And tell us a little bit about, what you walk people through if they come to you for, your coaching and all that good stuff. Like, what's the first steps to take?
Yes, we have different phases that we take people through. So there's individual, marriage, then there's the what, how, and if phase, and then there's the tools.
And so on the individual, like we're talking about, if you don't know who you are, then how can you really expect someone else to like love you? And then, because if you're not loving yourself and knowing who you are, and there's a lot of misperception of what a healthy relationship is.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you get married, you become one. Well, you're like on the same team as
Yeah, you're a
one,
team.
but it's two healthy individuals who come together to walk through life. And so if you don't know who you are and you're putting all of you in the other person, it's chaos.
Yep.
And so we really help couples first know who they are, work on themselves, and have healthy relationship with themselves, and have boundaries and respect and love for themselves. And then we move into the marriage and what a healthy relationship is.
Nice. So they go ahead and deal with just things that they're dealing with themselves first, and then they come together, and that's a great way
And
to
it's
do it.
Christian based.
It is Christian based.
It's who they are through God's eyes.
Right,
Not just
right.
who they are as a personality.
awesome.
That changes. So.
Yeah.
And as far as your spirituality is considered and stuff like that, did you guys attend a non-denominational church, or is this something that after y'all were going through all this turmoil together, y'all started going to church and then recognized that coming to Christ was going to help save your marriage instead of trying to find all these, alternate therapies? Or how did Christ come about?
That's a great question.
Yeah, so I think I understand the question. So I was I hit really rock bottom, lost everything, and this was a number of years ago. But the only reason I'm still living right now is because I was sitting in my car, head in the steering wheel moment, and I had no one left. Not her, not my kids, not my family, not her family, nothing. And I just like gave it to him. And like that's when I've always been in church, but that was when I actually sought a real relationship with God. It's a big difference.
It is. It truly is.
We've always been in church, but we didn't understand what having a real relationship is. And so we had sought counseling and took all this stuff, but we really were diving into, like, we were at a point of divorce. We had divorce papers. He was planning on leaving.
I already got the divorce papers already, and I was ready to walk out the door, and I threw out my back.
And so this was a God thing, because like we were praying, and like I would pray, and I'd be like, okay,
that's
like
crazy.
I know, like you have every right with infidelity to split. Like in God's eyes, like one status, you do. And I was like, God, I don't, like, whatever you want, because at that point I'm so mad still that I'm fine on my own. I'm a very strong, independent woman. I'm fine on my own, right? But I was like, I don't want that. And like, what do you want? And I kept being revealed to work on your marriage, your marriage. And so, but he was like, focus. He's like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna go. And the weekend he was supposed to leave, he like threw his back out, giving the dog a bath. It's the funniest thing. And I was like, ha ha.
That is so
I was like, that's God telling you you're not supposed to leave.
That's so crazy.
And so we took everything that we went through, because this was a years process. And counselors, like, they would give you a tidbit information and like some guidance, but they were always scared of like overwhelming you or, you know, hurting your feelings. And so between the therapy, the counseling, like intensives, and then church and everything, and we actually had coaches too. Yeah. And so we took all of that and we combined it to make our program.
Nice.
We've had multiple business coaches over the years that have helped contribute to this program as well.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome. So even if someone's saying that they just need to work on themselves, they can come to you guys too.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
I love that.
I love that.
So tell our audience where they can find you, and you know, your website and your social media pages and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So you can find us at moderndaychristianmarriage.com. It's our website. On Facebook, we have a Facebook group if you want to join. That's a nice community, safe community where we help everybody and put daily tips out.
Yes.
And that's just Christian marriage advice. Modern day Christian, was it Christian marriage advice?
Christian marriage advice and support.
And support, there we go. And then we have Instagram, which is just Christian marriage advice, and a YouTube channel, Christian marriage advice as well.
And if all else fails, I'm unique and one of a kind. Desnica Taylor on Facebook. You can find me. It's DESNEKKA. I'm the only one who pops up.
Yeah, no kidding. That's such an original name.
Yeah.
You guys are such a beautiful couple. I mean, aren't they just gorgeous?
Hey, that's
and y'all
awesome.
should write a book, like your perspective, and then your perspective, and then like what really happened at the very end.
We're working on it.
Are you really? Oh, I'd read it.
Yeah, we do want to write a book.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book.
She's writing a book. Everybody's writing a book.
We're all writing books. Come to the library.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching the Women's Empowerment segment. I hope you guys heard something that helped you, and you guys stay tuned for next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.